In my last Dell video, I covered the Dell XPS 14 for 2026. I talked about how Dell had an identity crisis last year. They tried to get cute with that naming and they experimented with things that didn't need fixing. And for a minute, it felt like the XPS brand, which is the absolute gold standard for Windows Ultrabooks, had lost its way. But today, if the Dell XPS 14 is the king and it's back, the 2026 Dell XPS 16 is the emperor. And it's back too. Dell finally wised up and they brought that XPS name back this year where it belongs and built a machine that doesn't just compete with the MacBook Pro, it exceeds it in some key areas. This laptop is easily the best Windows premium laptop design I've seen in years. Let's get into it. Hey guys, it's Al from Techaeris, and I'm back with another video, another Dell XPS video. This is the Dell XPS 16, and we're going to take a look at this. Just a quick note, this video is going to be very similar to my XPS 14 video. The only difference here is the screen size. Pretty much all the specs on this guy are the same. That's 32 gigs of RAM, the Panther Lake processor, Intel 7 Panther Lake, and the 1 terabyte of storage with that tandem OLED display. But we're going to talk about it anyway, and it's going to pretty much mirror what I did with the XPS 14. So here we go. Let's talk about build quality. This laptop, just like its little brother, the 14, is ultra premium. It's an all aluminum and glass affair that feels like it was carved out of a single block of metal. It is attractive, it is lightweight for its size, and the rigidity here is top tier. If you are a MacBook Pro user looking over the fence, this is the first Windows laptop that is going to make your hardware feel a little dated. And of course, we are very thankful that Dell listened to the feedback that not only us as reviewers and reporters gave to Dell, but consumers as well. We have a physical function row again. No more capacitive touch buttons that you can't feel. They also added actual borders on the haptic touchpad, which was a complaint a lot of people had. You couldn't feel where the trackpad ended and started. So they added these little notches on either side of the trackpad. They're very subtle and very faint, but they are there. You can feel them. And a lot of people will like that. It didn't bother me that they were not there, but I know a lot of people hated it. As for the keyboard, I personally love it. It's tight and precise. Though I will admit the zero lattice design is not suited for everyone's muscle memory right away. It's going to take some getting used to. It doesn't have that, Lenovo ThinkPad feel. The keys are not kind of separated. They kind of run into each other, and some people just don't like that. The star of this particular SKU is this tandem OLED display. It is quite simply fantastic. We're talking about a stacked layer of OLEDs that deliver insane brightness and contrast. Whether drafting up an article for Techaeris or watching a movie, the depth here is incredible. It makes standard panels look like they have a film of dust on them. It's an awesome panel, very vibrant, very bright, and that is due to that tandem OLED stack. That helps the brightness on these OLEDs. Still not as bright as a mini LED, but it is definitely brighter and it is more colorful, deeper blacks than a mini LED. So this is one of the standout features. Love this display a lot. And just like the XPS 14, you have a standout 4K webcam. I still remember the days where we complained about 720p webcams and they finally gave us 1080p, and we're pretty happy with the 1080p, but now we're getting 4K webcams and it is crisp. It handles exposure like a pro, and it's easily one of the best integrated cameras I've ever tested on any laptop. This is an excellent webcam if that is a feature that you need, especially for video conferencing and calls. This will handle it. Now let's talk about what's under the hood, because this is a new platform for Dell and for Windows laptops in general. This is where we see the Intel Ultra X7 358H. This is the Panther Lake chipset that shines. It is a combination of what Intel did last year with its other chips. They've taken the performance and the battery savings from the models from last year, and they've combined them into this Panther Lake chipset, which combines the CPU, GPU, and an NPU, and it really accelerates the performance, battery life, and just overall feel of this whole entire system. It's truly a competitor to something like the M5 from Apple. and it is going to be able to run a lot of things for you. This is one of those laptops that it's nice not to have an integrated GPU. Some users may need that. Panther Lake really takes that need away for most users. This unit we have here is rocking 32 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. And as I said earlier, for most creative work, you do not need a GPU that is dedicated here. Panther Lake chipset is a beast. It will take care of you very well. I breezed through my workflow in DaVinci Resolve and Affinity Photo with no issues. It handles 4K video and heavy photo layers like they're nothing, and it also maintains excellent battery life. Dell managed to find that Goldilocks zone of superior performance without the heat and bulk of a dedicated GPU, and that is also partly to do with Intel. As far as battery life, I did mention that battery life is excellent. I was able to get around 10 to 13 hours on battery, maybe a little bit more. It all depends on what you're doing, right? If you're doing heavy gaming or doing 4K video rendering, your battery is going to suffer. I cannot give you an exact, number of hours you're going to get. It's going to be very dependent on how you use your machine. But for everyday daily tasks like word processing, email, web browsing, writing articles, watching some YouTube, you're going to get an all-day battery life out of this. If you are taking a whole day to do a lot of heavy work, then you're probably going to need the power adapter plugged in. Can you game on it? Yes, you can. It's very doable for casual or even moderate gaming, but remember, this is not a dedicated gaming rig. If you're a serious competitor and you want a competitive gaming rig, you still need to look toward Alienware. But for everyone else, this is more than enough power. I played the Spider-Man series on there, Miles Morales, some other games, and they ran just fine, no issues. But again, this is just casual, moderate gaming. I'm not doing anything heavy. I'm not a competitive gamer, and I don't really peep at the frame rate, and I don't really care about that so much. I mean, if it gets really stuttery, of course, you get annoyed with that. But I had no stutter, nothing that was visible to me, nothing that really mattered. So for casual gamers, great. But I will tell you, if you are a dedicated gamer and that is your job, and you depend on solid performance, especially in frame rates, and making sure that everything is running smooth as possible, look to Alienware. I really don't have a lot bad to say about the XPS 16. Maybe a couple things. Let's talk the finish on this. It's a beautiful, beautiful machine. I love the color, but it does pick up fingerprints, and that's just been a thing with XPS over the years. Even MacBook Pro does the same thing. It does pick, especially if you get the darker SKU, it does pick up those fingerprints. So you'll be wiping it down if you have OCD. Sometimes I tend to wipe it down quite a bit because those fingerprints kind of ruin the aesthetic for me, but some people may not care. The other con, and not really a con because people buying this will already know, it is pricey. At this spec, you're looking at a significant investment, and for some users, the price tag is going to be a tough pill to swallow. And while the integrated graphics are amazing, I know there are still some folks out there who just want that dedicated GPU for specific 3D tasks. So the pricing might be an issue for some, but I do think most people are ready for this higher price tag, knowing that the XPS name is a premium laptop and you are going to pay a premium price. And maybe one small, little tiny gripe, not for me in particular, but I know I've seen other people talk about this, is the lack of a small lip on the front to open these laptops. Both the XPS 14 and the XPS 16, they are pretty much flush all the way across. There's no little notch where you can lift up the display to open up the laptop. I don't have a problem with it. I can get my fingernail up in there just fine and just kind of pull it right up, and it's not an issue. But I know that some people would like to see a little notch there where their thumb can get in there and open it up. But it is openable with one finger, though some people do find some issues with it. I don't have an issue with it. It's not a big deal to me, but it might be for you. Finally, let's talk sound. The speakers on the 16 are excellent. They do compete with the MacBook Pro 16 that I have here. It's a 2021 MacBook Pro, but the speakers sound great. They are a little less boomy as the MacBook Pro. The MacBook Pro tends to have a boomier soundstage, but this audio here is fantastic. It should be. It's a Windows Premium laptop, and the sound on here is right on par with Mac, and it sounds great. I don't have an issue with it. So what's the final verdict here? Well, the 2026 Dell XPS 16 is a no-brainer for the premium Windows user. If this is the tier that you're looking at, if you're looking at this price point, you're looking at this style of laptop, this is the one you should get in 2026. It is attractive, it's powerful, and the XPS name is back where it belongs. It never should have been retired in the first place, and it's prominently on the lid of the laptop. So when you open that up, people know you have the XPS. All right, that is about it, guys. If you found this review helpful, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, leave a comment below. I try to respond to comments. I can't respond to everything, super busy, but I try, and I at least read them. So just let me know. Are you happy to see the XPS name back? What do you think of the pricing? What do you think of the build quality? What do you think of that tandem OLED display? Would you prefer the IPS display over the tandem OLED for its brightness, or for just cost savings? You let me know. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure you take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will talk to you on the other side.